Divergent producer launches AI company that aims to make studio quality movies for $500,000. $500,000. Let's get into this. The producer of the Divergent series, I think the name is Poyo Shabazian, is opening up a studio, an AI-driven studio that's going to produce AI-driven content. And not only are they producing it, but they want to produce like 30 films in the next 3 to 4 years. That's a tall order. It's a lot. It's a lot. So even though they have the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strikes to prevent AI from affecting, actors and writers in the industry, AI has effectively entered the chat and is here to stay, it would seem. So you got filmmakers who have turned to AI for its efficiency. It's a tool. On the upside, graphic design artists learned to use Photoshop. They thought Photoshop would replace them, but it hasn't really replaced them. It has allowed for them to be, they've learned to work with it. And more productions are pretty much using it. This is kind of like how CGI started off, where it may have been looked down upon, but it's gained traction over time, and now it's kind of normal. Well, to give you an idea of how AI is being used right now in movies right now, The Brutalist, which stars Adrian Brody and Felicia Jones, they use AI technology to help perfect the Hungarian accent that Adrian was using in the movie. Amelia Perez, it was nominated for like 13 Academy Awards. It used AI to increase the vocal range of lead actor Carla Sofia Gascon. And then the writer who won an Oscar for Taxi Driver, he was getting some heat because he said, why should writers sit around for months searching for good ideas when AI can provide it in seconds? Let's rely more on technology and use our brain less. When you don't exercise something, you lose it, right? Like if you start going to the gym and then you stop, the gains that you were gaining go away. I mean, even when patients who lose the ability to walk over time, your legs atrophy, right? Or something. So here's the thing. This producer, they've already started working on an AI generated film. The first one is The Woman with Red Hair. It's featuring the work of a variety of screenwriters, directors, actors, and animators. The character designs are from a former Pixar executive, and the artwork is from the guy who worked on Kung Fu Panda. Now, this movie, The Woman with Red Hair, is a drama about a true life war resistor in World War II Holland, as voiced by a real person. And you got other actors in there. I'm not sure how to feel about this, but they did release a teaser. So, you know what? Let's look at the teaser real quick. I'm not sure if it'll let me play the whole thing without copyright striking me, which would be interesting. Staircase Studios AI. Oh, wow. This is like new. Here we go. Let's see how it looks. Interesting. There's like this gloss, this sheen. I mean, you already have actors who like go under the knife to look a certain way and or who are casted because they have a certain look to them. And now we're going to be putting less like real people in stuff. If this was like animated, it'd be a little different. But this is like, that's just, I mean, it looks better than, AI did a few years ago when I started doing this. But, it's only going to get better. Alrighty. I've watched enough. So this producer says that he has dedicated himself to pairing ethical AI usage with the industry's almost underutilized assets, overlooked stories waiting to be produced from fantastic writers and directors. So the plus side is that, you know, if you look at it as the Hollywood machine, they dictate what movies, what stories are being told. And it's not like they're not getting original stuff. It's not like they're not getting new stuff. They're just rejecting the new stuff or rejecting the original stuff because they're sticking to what they know. They're sticking to what they think will make us the most money and what will appeal to the largest audiences. So there are tons and tons and tons of stories that aren't getting told, that aren't getting put on the big screen or even the small screen. And what this allows for is studios, not studios, creatives, independents, smaller studios to get their work produced themselves and put it out there. And you saw that they still had a team. It wasn't like it was one guy who typed in a prompt and then a whole movie appeared. They still had animators, they still had writers, they still had actors and actresses. They still have people being used in the medium, people's talents being used. So again, it's not one person who types in something and they've replaced like 2,000 jobs. A lot of jobs have been replaced, don't get me wrong. And I do think that these bloated budgets for these movies are unnecessary. The cost of some of these movies is like atrocious. Now, part of that is poor planning, like how some of these Marvel, I'm going to just pick on Marvel, but just because of the top of my head, some of these Marvel movies, they are changing things as they're in development or as they're filming, which means reshoots, which means delays, which means longer time on set. So yeah, you're racking up the bill. Now, for the sake of allowing creators and writers who Hollywood would never blink twice at, having the opportunity to get their work, their stories, their voices heard and seen, for that I'm happy about. The concern, one of the concerns I have, isn't just, loss of jobs, but loss of human connection. Because here's the thing, AI is only going to get better. What we're seeing now, like the little uncanny little jerks here and there, they're already getting smoothed out with each passing day. I believe that there is still a connection with the audience, with the actor, with the character. There's something to relate there. And it just feels like if this is this porcelain created character with no real flaws, outside, this world has no real flaws. I don't know. It is too perfect. It is too curated. It's too curated. Now, that could be just a gripe that I personally have. And you guys could be perfectly fine with it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to knock anybody who uses it. I get it. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't use it or play around with it myself. I don't want to see us rely all on it. Because typing into GPT, like you have an idea and you're like, oh man, are you looking for an idea? And hey, what about this? And it gives you a prompt. I think prompts are cool. Prompts are an excellent way to get your brain working, to get your mind going. So even though I was before, prompts they're good. Trying to rely heavily on AI to do everything is where I'm like, so what part do we play? How are we involved? I mean, it's here to stay. You can't there's no going back. Pandora's box has been opened. So Staircase Studios, AI. You're going to probably see a lot of studios popping up, Maybach Studios, AI. Shadow Studios, AI. It's going to happen. It's probably already happening. Because they are also already working on more work. Here's what the producer had to say. After packaging and selling 150 projects into the studio system over the past 15 years, I've borne witness to far too much inefficiency to continue the status quo. So he's tired of the bureaucracy of Hollywood, of studios. I mean, and not to mention all the sad stories of studios literally stealing writers' work. There are countless stories of writers, believe it or not, who pitch to studios, who send their work over, and they're like, no, thank you. We don't need it. And then down the line, they literally produce a movie that's similar to what was pitched. That was the case with Coming to America, but I didn't know that. Coming to America, a journalist pitched it to the studio about a foreign prince coming to America to look for a wife. I'm not sure all the pitch details, but he pitched it. They were like, nah, we're good. And then Coming to America, starring Eddie Murphy, comes out. And he's like, well, hold on. Hold, sir. What's going on? You guys told me this wasn't viable, but then you went and made the movie that I pitched. He was able to sue. He had enough materials and evidence that he won. But when they try to like convince you, no one's going to steal your work. People do. They do. I currently haven't had it happen to me. I also haven't tried to pitch it to anybody. I've just been making my own stuff. But people do. Studios do. So I get the whole wanting to just supersede the middleman. Forget that. I don't need to come crawling on my hands and knees to you to make my movie or my content or my idea. When I can go do it myself without your interference, without your knowing notes. So, but be prepared. We will probably get an influx of stuff that we have to sift through for the good stuff. It'll regulate itself. The issue I have also is that, like, yeah, CGI was, looked down before, and then, it got better. Jurassic Park, like they infused it with technology, with practical effects, and then it went downhill because they started to rely heavily on it. So instead of it being like a garnish or a nice little added to a movie, it became the foundation of a movie. And those just, you don't feel connected to the movie. You don't feel connected to the scene. It's too light. And that's how I feel with AI. Like, it's going to look beautiful. It's going to look great. But are you going to feel connected to it? Only time will tell. What do you guys think? Are you excited? Are you concerned? Do you even care? Who cares? Do you? Let me know. Hey guys, quick aside. If you like what you're seeing and you like what you're hearing, feel free to give the video a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can always be up to date on what's going on. And for those who don't know, I'm a writer, director, and producer with my own series, The Zombie Chronicles, which you can also check out on Amazon Prime or Tubi. And those looking for a way to help support further, you can check out my Patreon, NXG Global Productions, where I discuss more movie reviews, access to clips of my writers group recordings, first look at behind the scenes, shout outs on social media, posts, and more. I'm looking to grow the community and would love to have you be a part of it. Plug over.